Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today I got a pretty interesting topic for you guys, and the topic is, should ESPN have replaced Stephen A. Smith instead of Max Kellerman? So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. The rumors of Max Kellerman leaving ESPN First Take became official yesterday. Why? Because yesterday, Max Kellerman, on his last episode on ESPN First Take, he gave his farewell speech. So for those of you who missed what he said, because yesterday we did a live, and it seemed to be a lot of people that were coming in were like, what's happening? What's going on with this and this and this and this? And I'm sure some people have yet to see him actually, or yet to hear him actually give his speech or his last, his concession before leaving the show. So what I want to do, I want you guys to take a listen to a few things that he had to say during his farewell speech yesterday on ESPN First Take. So take a listen to that.
Molly, first of all, anyone who wants to know about Molly, salt of the earth. It's great to know you, and exactly, a friend forever and all that. And Molly made me feel so welcome right away on the show and gave me the lay of the land. And it's been a great 5 years. What I'm struck with, watching those clips of myself, I knew how articulate and smart I was, of course. How excellent
Always
on television.
Good looking.
But that's what I was struck with.
So handsome. So handsome through the years.
No one ever told me.
I know, right?
So handsome.
Our hair color changed through the years.
Yeah. You think a little bit?
Both.
The last 5 years has not been kind to the hair color. But it's been a great 5 years. I got to tell you, the people who work on this show, and like you always hear this, if someone's at the end of a show, someone's leaving the show, behind the scenes, and there are too many people to mention. There really are. And just a bunch of good people, and getting up every morning and coming into work like, kids, you know why you want to work in this business? It beats working for a living. Yeah. We're stealing money here. Like, we get up and every day to argue about sports with our friends. You know what I'd be doing if I wasn't on the show? Arguing about sports with my friends. My friends are on TV, and everyone gets to see it, and I somehow get out of working for a living. So I will continue to get out of working for a living talking about sports, but no longer on.
Now, in that soundbite, Max Kellerman thanked, he thanked everyone because he had been on the show for 5 years, which is something I wasn't even aware of. I didn't realize time went by that fast. Even Stephen A. Smith called in to, bid him a farewell. Molly Karen was there. She seemed, a bit sad, and she was a bit emotional. And I think Max Kellerman was emotional too. But I think he did a good job covering his emotions, or his sadness, with humor, right? He tried to use humor to cover it up, but we know that, it's a big deal, right? You've been on the show for 5 years. It's the #1 sports debate show in the United States, so it's a big deal when you're no longer on that show. Now, we did a video about 3 months ago where we brought up the point where I thought that Stephen A. Smith was being a little bit too disrespectful to Max Kellerman. We did a video on this, right? And that video did very well. And some of the people in that video said, oh, no. This is just a sports talk. It's just entertainment. You're making too much of it. Why are you making a big deal out of it? This is nothing. This is just for TV, right? This is just for TV. And I said, no, I think some of this is for TV, but some of it I thought it was just a little bit too excessive. I'm like, wait a minute, like we can have, we can put on a good show for the audience, right? But some of it sometimes it seemed like as if Stephen A. was scolding Max Kellerman on TV, like as if he was one of his nephews or one of his sons or something like that. And I thought that this was a little bit too much. I didn't think it was normal. Some people did, but I didn't think it was normal. So when the news came out that that Max Kellerman was going to be leaving the show, this news came out about let's say 2 weeks ago or so. I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised. And I think a lot of people began to realize, like, oh, wait a minute, it looks like something was there after all, right? It wasn't just acting, after all. And the news got so big that Stephen A. Smith had to come out and make some comments about it, right? He had to give his, he had to, give his thoughts on it. And he said, listen, he likes Max Kellerman and all of these different things, but they have different ways of doing things. To this day, I'm not really sure what he meant by that. After Max Kellerman, finally gave his concession speech yesterday, that he's leaving the show, the question that sits in the back of my mind is this: why did they choose Max Kellerman over Stephen A. Smith? Why did they choose to let go of Max Kellerman instead of Stephen A. Smith? Because I can't think of a single point over the last 5 years, or all throughout Max Kellerman's tenure at that show, where Max Kellerman did something or said something that would warrant him being removed from ESPN First Take. I can't think of a moment. I really can't. But I can think of a bunch of incidents. Hell, I can think of a bunch of incidents over the last few months of Stephen A. Smith doing some things where he had to come out and make some public apologies. You don't need to go too far than to think of the whole Shohei Ohtani situation when he made the comment about him. Or you can think about the situation with the Nigerian players. He had to come out and make a public apology and say, listen, I didn't mean to say this. I didn't mean to say that. Right. And I can't think of any time in the past where Max Kellerman put that network in a similar position where he had to come out or was forced to make a public apology for some of the things that he said on TV. I can't think of that. I can't think of that moment. And I'm sitting here still scratching my head wondering why Max over Stephen A. Smith. Now, some people have said, and I think we all agree on this, that Stephen A. Smith is the undoubted face of ESPN. We get that, right? We get that. But it doesn't change the fact that I still can't think of a reason why they would get rid of Max Kellerman unless it was a decision that was made or suggested to be made by Stephen A. Smith himself. And he did say that they have different ways of doing things. But again, that still is unclear to me what it means to this day. I still don't understand why, they're getting rid of Max. And he said, and they've said, that Max Kellerman is going to get his own morning radio show, I think with Keyshawn Johnson and some other folks at the network. And he said he's going to be making a big announcement where he's going to have his own TV show, right? But let's just face the facts here. When you're no longer part of the biggest sports debate show in the United States, you lose something because you have the biggest audience, at your hand, right? You're in front of the biggest crowd, and now you're pretty much going to go off into the sunset and have your own show. And obviously, I think Max Kellerman is talented enough, to do well in his next endeavor. But nevertheless, I'm still sitting here wondering how in all of this that Max Kellerman is the one that gets let go of. Because trust me, I don't think Max Kellerman just flat out decided to quit. I don't think that's the case. I think that it was a decision that was made by Stephen A. Smith and the big wigs at ESPN, right? I think they're the ones that decided that, listen, we need to get rid of Max Kellerman because Stephen A. Smith said, we have different ways of doing things, and we all know he's a star of the show. This is something that he said publicly to Max Kellerman on numerous occasions where he said, slow your roll, bro, this and this and this and this. I'm the star of the show. I think he set a precedent where people felt comfortable to come on ESPN First Take and disrespect Max Kellerman. To this day, I don't understand why Kendrick Perkins, who is a guest on the show, felt the need to constantly come on there screaming Max. I don't understand that. What universe does that occur where you have a guest come on the show and he's screaming on one of the co-hosts of the show? That is unheard of to me. Usually what would happen is you would kick that guest off. You say, listen, man, you're not going to come up here and try to, embarrass me on TV. But in this instance, it seemed as if like everybody can go up there and punch up. But, Max Kellerman was the punching bag for everybody. Right. And for Kendrick Perkins, right? Kendrick Perkins is the one up there shouting on Max Kellerman where Kendrick rarely makes any sound arguments. He's very entertaining. He's hilarious. He's funny, but a lot of his arguments he puts up a lot of Swiss cheese arguments, which are full of holes, right? But nevertheless, it looks like, Max Kellerman is moving on. And to this day, to this moment, it remains unclear to me as to why. That part, just I don't understand why, they decided to get rid of Max Kellerman. It just doesn't make sense. If you think of the Rachel Nichols, Maria Taylor situation, you can understand there's some drama there. But in this particular instance, I don't see anything wrong. At least Rachel Nichols, you can say she made these comments back. You can make an argument out of that. But in this particular situation, I just don't understand. And listen, I wish Max all the best. I think he's going to do really well. I'm very interested to see what type of TV show he's going to have. Is it going to be unboxing, UFC? I don't know. But I think he's a very talented guy, and I think he's going to land on his feet. But I just have this feeling, and maybe I'm wrong because I'm an outsider looking in, that maybe he got a raw deal. But this is just what I think. So what I want to know from you guys is, why do you think that Max Kellerman was replaced instead of Stephen A. Smith. Like, why do you think Max Kellerman ultimately was let go and was told to leave ESPN First Take? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode.